Hi, writers! It's time to get started on another great day of writing, and I can't wait to see where you go. Now, before we get started talking about writing, I want to think about the way that we talk to each other. So right now, close your eyes and remember all of the things that people have said to you so far this morning. What did your parents say to you this morning when you were getting ready for school? Or your brothers and sisters, what did they say this morning? What did Miss Redmond say when you walked in the door? Or your friends when they saw you for the first time? What crazy thing did I say during math this morning or during mindsets? Who knows? What about throughout the day during your instruction? Have you talked with partners? Did they say something? Think about all the things that have been said to you today. You got a few? Okay, good. Now think about how those things were said to you. Were they all said like this in a very calm talking voice? No. I bet some were whispered because you didn't want Miss Redmond to hear. I bet some were said really loud because you were excited or you wanted to be heard. I bet some were even giggled a little bit when they were said because something was funny. Have you ever giggled a word? I do it a lot. Was anything kind of whined because you wanted something really bad? No, we don't have whiners in this class. Was anything said in a stern voice? Did anybody get in trouble this morning? There are lots of ways that we can speak. Even though we're all talking, the type of voice that we use and the facial expression that we make and the way that our voice sounds is crazy different every time we open our mouths, right? Even though we're trying to portray a message, it can mean different things because of the way we say it. And as writers, that's a very powerful thing to remember, is that when we are writing about our realistic fiction characters and we're bringing them to life by giving them words, we call that, remember, dialogue. That's the writer's word for it. When we give our characters dialogue, it's not only important the words that they say, but it's also important the way that they say it. So I want you to think right now, what's one way that your character might talk that is different than just saying something? Tell the person next to you. Would they whisper? Would they scream in frustration? Tell your talking partner. Good. Waterfall, waterfall. Shh. I bet you came up with a lot of different ways that characters can talk to each other. Good job. Some of the ways that you may have come up with are, I've said it a couple of times, so we'll go ahead and write down this one. Whisper. A whisper is a great way to say that somebody is saying something quietly. Another one that I've heard in our writing, and I've mentioned it before, it's a really good one. Gasped. Gasped. Oh, but you know what that reminds me of? If you say a question, right, you might say, who knows the answer? Asked Miss McCarty instead of said Miss McCarty. Asked might be a good way to do that. Oh, or clean up your room. Demanded Mom. Your characters can demand something. Demanded. What if you're so excited you squeal? Oh, squeal's a good one. Gosh, there are so many that we can do. What about groaned? Not math homework again. Groan. We can groan. Very good. Look at all of these different ways to talk, and we've only come up with just a few. I bet that you and your partner came up with some other ones that might be the same or might be a little bit different than the ones that I came up with. And that's great. I'm so proud of your thinking. All right, so now that you've been thinking about this, I need your help again. I'm very needy with my writing, you guys. I've got to have you. So let's take a look at some things that I wrote that Jordan would say to her mom. It's a conversation. Jordan and her mom are in it, and I kind of separated Jordan talking, her mom talking, and Jordan talking again. So let me read this to you with the understanding that readers don't know what you mean as a writer, how you mean for your characters to say them, unless you tell them. And I'm already missing something here. How do we know when someone's talking? How do we know the words that are said out loud? What punctuation is that? A lot of us have tried to use that in our writing already. What kind of punctuation do authors use to tell the reader that a character is talking? Quotation marks, right? They look like the little double commas in the air. And they go where? Before the first word that's said out loud and right after the last word that's said out loud. Good job. Okay, so here, let me read this. And then you start thinking, where would I need quotation marks? Do I need to use different, we call these dialogue tags. Tags on the word, on the dialogue that is said out loud that tell the reader how the word is said or how it is spoken. So where do we need quotation marks and what dialogue tags do we need to change? Let's see. I'm going outside, said Jordan. Not until you finish your homework, said Mom. You know the rules. Oops, said Jordan. I almost forgot. Math won't take me too long. Okay, that's kind of a normal conversation, right? Nothing mind-blowing. But it is a good way to make our characters seem real because they're talking to each other. But first, I've got to find, where do my quotation marks go? I'm going outside, said Jordan. Well, I know Jordan said some of those words, but she wouldn't have said Jordan. That wouldn't have come out of her mouth. I never say, get out your pencil, says Miss McCarty. I don't give those instructions, do I? No. So it would go, I'm is the first word she would say out loud. Going outside is the last word she would say out loud. And because I've got that quotation mark there, I'm going to put a little comma. So that makes this a quotation. That's really good. I'm going outside, said Jordan. But in my mind, Jordan wouldn't just say that. She would already be almost halfway out the door. That's how I always did it when I was younger. I would always be on my way outside and then just tell Mom, like, remember, oh yeah, I got to tell Mom I'm going outside. So instead of saying it, they're probably not even in the same room. She would have to yell it, but not in a frustrated way. So I don't want to use yell because sometimes that can be kind of angry. Called, like if you're calling from another room, I'm going outside. I think that's how I would change it. So I'm going to mark through said, and I'm just not going to use that because it's not as descriptive as I would like. I would say called. How does this sound? I'm going outside, called Jordan. That sounds realistic, right? Okay, let's look at what Mom says back. All right. Not until you finish your homework, said Mom. You know the rules. Okay, I think I know what Mom's saying out loud. She definitely says not until you finish your homework. But again, she wouldn't say, said Mom, so I'll put a comma right there to know. Not until you finish your homework, said Mom. You know the rules. Oh, I bet she said you know the rules out loud too. So you know the rules. And since there's a period there, I don't need a comma. Can you guys see the way I'm marking that up? Now, how would Mom say that? Not until you finish your homework, said Mom. You know the rules. That sounds like a reminder, doesn't it? Oh, can we say, not until you finish your homework, reminded Mom? You know the rules. That makes sense. That's exactly what she's doing. She's not just saying it. She's reminding Jordan. Okay. Remind. I know the word mind is I-N-D. Reminded. Good. Okay, not until you finish your homework, reminded Mom. You know the rules. Awesome. And then at the very end, Jordan keeps talking. She says, oops, said Jordan. I almost forgot. Math won't take me too long. Okay, oops. Oops is said out loud, but not said Jordan. So that's not, I'll put a comma there so I know don't do Jordan. I need a period there. Okay, so oops was said out loud. Oops, said Jordan. I almost forgot. Math won't take me too long. I bet she said that out loud too, don't you? I almost forgot, quotation marks. Math won't take me too long, quotation marks. Good. How could she say that? She's not asking. How do you say oops? Oops. Oops, said Jordan. I almost forgot. Remembered? No, not really. You don't say things as you remember them. What could we add there? Oops, said Jordan. I almost forgot. Math won't take me too long. I don't know. Do any of the words... I bet she could whisper it to herself, or she could think it, couldn't she? Thought Jordan. Oops, thought Jordan. I almost forgot. Math won't take me too long. Thought. So she could even be speaking to herself at this point. Okay, so let's read this again and see if those quotation marks and dialogue tags made a difference. Let's listen. I'm going outside, called Jordan. Not until you finish your homework, reminded Mom. You know the rules. Oops, thought Jordan. Almost forgot. Math won't take me too long. That sounds great, doesn't it? It sounds so natural. Boys and girls, you were really thinking throughout that whole exercise, and I know that you can do the same for your paper. In fact, I bet a lot of you are already thinking, how could I go back and find the word said in my writing and change that to a different dialogue tag? Or I wonder if some of you are thinking, oh, I have dialogue bubbles and talk bubbles in my pictures, but I haven't put it in my words yet. Writers, today and every day when you're writing and you're bringing your characters to life by giving them dialogue and things to say, you can always make it more realistic by adding those quotation marks so your reader knows they're supposed to read out loud, and by doing exact dialogue tags. Instead of just using the word said, you can tell exactly the way things came out of your character's mouth to make your writing more realistic. Boys and girls, when you get to it today, I know you're going to have a lot to do. So I encourage you to work hard and work with stamina. Go get those dialogue tags.